Welcome back to the Tiny Area Hanger. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you and asking a question. Are there not going to be any more re-releases from Fanstoys? So I've been hearing these rumors a lot, and rumors are rumors, and I don't like to talk about rumors so much, but the reality of it is kind of fun to entertain the idea. But in this case, I'm curious: is Fanstoys done re-releasing their old figures for a sustained amount of time? And I gotta tell you, I don't think at any point in time in the past history of Fanstoys have we had this many figures that they have announced that don't actually have a release date. And I think they got a lot on their plate. In fact, maybe too much on their plate. And with this, I've touched on this in another video, but with this, they've done a few choice re-releases. And in some cases, maybe it's a little questionable whether or not it was a re-release, a second run, or if it was just old stock. But we'll get into this. I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm going to talk about why I think that they are not going to. I actually personally think they're not going to do any re-releases for a while. I think they're going to shelf the re-releases and put out new figures. Then I think they're going to revisit re-releases down the road. But we're talking 5 years down the road. 3, 5, who knows? Simply because they've got a huge workload on their backs. So we're going to talk about some of this stuff, and let's get right into what have they re-released that we know they've re-released. Well, starting with the beginning, they re-released Quakewave. Quakewave came out, took a lot longer to sell out than they do these days. But once it sold out and they moved on to some Dinobots and all that, he became a very high demand figure. People were paying $400 plus for him. Then they re-released him, and now they're selling for like less than $100. So that was, hey, catering to your clientele. That's giving us what we want for the fair price. I'm all about that. Then we move into the Dinobots. Now I think they've re-released every Dinobot, but with Scoria, I don't think it got a re-release. It got a different color. I think they all got different colorings with the Dinobots. And I think that's part of the fact that they were still early on. And so there's early designs, and their load wasn't as big back then. Plus, they got the Grinder that was re-released, and it was a high-demand figure. And so they've got a lot of these high-demand figures that they've re-released. They've also re-released Sovereign. Sovereign, a good solid figure. Obviously, you need to have a Galvatron if you're doing a display. Like, you kind of have to have this character if you're going to make a movie display, the 1986 movie display, with your Decepticons. I mean, it would look kind of crazy if you didn't. And so there's really only there's two other options, but really one other true masterpiece option out there, and they didn't want DX9 to get all that pie. So then you look at what else did they re-release. Well, people say that Phoenix was re-released. I don't think Phoenix ever was truly re-released. I think Phoenix, they already produced what they were going to produce for the first run. They produced another 1,000 or so, well, it was 1,000, and didn't assemble it yet because they painted them. They individually paint these and they assemble them. And so that's kind of what held up that process. Plus, they put out this big price and waited for the pre-orders to sell out. But I really think that Phoenix was not a second run. I think it was just like what X-Transbots does with their G2 versions, the G2 versions of their Minotaur figures. So that gets into a couple of questions here. So what else did they re-release? Well, I mean, they re-released Soar just recently for like $150 or something like that. And so those figures are all figures we wanted. It's figures we needed. But why are they not re-releasing these other ones? So who would you want to see re-released? Well, of course, you'd want to see Forager re-released. Forager, or all the Insecticons, but Forager, for whatever reason, that thing stands out, commanding twice the price of any other Fanstoys Insecticon. I don't know if it was made in lower quantities with the first run or what, and I've had people telling me for 2 years now that Forager's getting re-released. And I'm like, where are you getting this information? Because I don't get that information. And so I just don't see it happening anytime soon. Next we have Fanstoys Spotter. Everybody's wanting a re-release of that. Now that thing is hard to get these days, almost impossible. But there is 2-3 other options out there to put on your shelf, and like right now you could get a set of the competition of the Make Toys for like $130. So I'm gonna actually have that coming. I'm gonna take a look at that thing. Then their Lupus. Now they got a lot of negativity about their Lupus, their version of Weird Wolf. And I don't see why. I don't think it was that bad of a figure. I don't personally own them, and if they re-released them, I would definitely pick them up. But I'm not chasing them down for $200-300 like he's going for now. So I'm not that kind of person. I'm not after that. But I would probably pick them up definitely. Well, I definitely pick them up if they re-released them. But I don't see a re-release schedule coming. And then like put them next to Mindwipe. Mindwipe is still readily available. Mindwipe's working on like 6 or 7 months that it's been released. So the next one that I would want to see is Tesla. I already have that figure. I mean, I'm saying I'd like to see it for other collectors. Truly, personally, for my collection, I just don't care if it gets re-released or not. But so many people are saying they want this Tesla. And people say that the plastic quality is bad on theirs. Mine's fine. But I don't transform it, and I don't manipulate it. I put it on the shelf, and it stands there looking good. No cracks. But people want that figure because there's no other option in the Masterpiece for that figure. And of course there's like a face upgrade would be nice. I think they've included a face upgrade with one of the other figures on the road. The next figure would be Willis. Their Hound. Now their Hound is the most sought after Hound out there right now. I mean, if they re-released any figure, it should be Willis 15. That's the one they should re-release, because once Takara hits, all the Takara diehards will either dump their Willy if they had one, and then you'll be competing against a massive influx of secondary market, or you'll just have the people that wanted one but say, no, I want a Takara instead. And that's just the battle it's going to take. And there's going to be a lot of, well, Fanstoys is better, no, Takara's is better, no, Fanstoys is better, no, Takara's is better. Who knows? I mean, I don't have my hands on the Takara yet. I don't know. So, where are you with this? I mean, what do you think? I'd like to get some feedback on it. So, moving into why they're not going to re-release these. And it's really simple because of the huge load they're bearing right now. They have so many announcements, so many figures, and let's just start with one of the figures that I think is probably the most important that they need to release. So the first one of like 20, and we'll get into why they have 20 announcements. The first one I think is their Astro Train, and we have 2 different Astro Train options in the Masterpiece scale. We've got one that's like slightly above Chug, more of a Voyager, we won't count that. But we have the Chugger, and we have the, that's from DX9. And then we have the Devil Star, Evil Star, I believe that's Toy World release. So those, neither one of those fit the bill for me. I think the Toy World almost looks better, but he's so small, he doesn't fit into the size, meet the size requirements either. But, and his aesthetic from the lower legs just look weird, just like crazy off. The upper half looks okay, but the lower is kind of their Blitzwing. And their Blitzwing will probably be stable, unlike the KFC's version. Now, KFC made a Blitzwing that looks great, but falls over easily. And I do have a fix for mine, but I can make mine stand fine. I don't do any crazy stuff with it, but I have the fix for it. So down the road, if he starts having more problems, then I can install the fix. I'll get as much use out of this original one as I can. But then there was also the DX9 Gewalt, and that thing didn't look G1 enough for me, but I got it anyway. It was fun. It's very stable, hefty beast of a figure. Transformation is a little weird, but it's a triple changer, so what do you expect? So those figures, you already have options. Well, also, they have their Fanstoys Jabber, and Jabber's a good figure. Like, I like Jabber. But I like it. I mean, I think he looks good. I don't have it yet. I've pre-ordered it. But I think he looks good. But there's some issues with him that I think that the Unique Toys one doesn't have. The Unique Toys one beats him in some areas. So when I get them hand to hand and side by side and look at them, I may decide that I don't like it as much as what I already have. So I don't know. But then again, I may decide I like it more. Who knows? But that's one that people are looking forward to. And then they also have the mini bots coming. So you got Brawn, you got Warpath, and you got Beachcomber. And so with those coming out, their plate is full. That's not to mention the 10 figures that make up 2 combiners. And that's not to mention anything else that I seem to have missed in this because there is so much out there. Not to mention they have their Outrider and their Chomp. So let me know what you think. If you have, hey, if you know there's a pre-order for a re-release coming up somewhere, let me know about it. I'd love to know. Maybe it's something I don't have. I'd love other viewers to be able to know. But as of now, there are no pre-orders for any old molds coming from Fanstoys, and I fear there may not be for a long time. Like, subscribe, and Titanium Hanger out.